It is peak Portal season already with over 1,300 players officially in the portal in only 24 hours as time of recording, and there's still a lot to come. In today's video, I rank the top 5 quarterbacks in the transfer portal right now and predict where they will end up. If you guys like this content, let me know by hitting that like button and subscribing because I plan to make plenty of transfer portal and recruiting content as this college football season wraps up, as well as playoff and bowl content. It's exciting times on the channel, and you don't want to miss it. Be a part of this college football community and subscribe. With that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, let's go from 5 to 1. Starting at 5, my number 5 quarterback is Maalik Murphy, transferring from Duke University to, well, we're going to find out here soon, aren't we? I have a pro and con for each quarterback, but I'll dive into the numbers here. He's one of the better quarterbacks rated by pretty much every single recruiting site in this portal class. His numbers are pretty darn good. I'm going to say he broke a lot of records at Duke, I think, for passing yards and passing touchdowns. He passed for 2,933 yards with 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. The interception count is a bit high, but you're going to get that with a guy like Maalik Murphy because Maalik Murphy has a cannon for an arm. Like I say here, as a pro, it's a pro, and he has a dual threat capability. He runs really well as well. But the con for him is that he is pretty careless with the ball at times. Occasionally makes some bad reads. You see it when you watch the film. He does make some bad reads at times. You can see it in the 12 interceptions. His QBR is less than ideal at 56.5. But again, we are talking about a guy at Duke here. Duke went 9-3 this year, largely because of him. And Manny Diaz is doing great down there. I love him, but it's just not the same as if we were to go to a different place. My top 3 teams for him, it's tough because he could come back to Duke, but I'm gonna leave that out of there for a second. I think a top 3 for him is going to be somewhere around the lines of Georgia, Syracuse, and Baylor. I think that he's really talented, and he's going to go to a marquee place. I don't think he's going to go to Oregon State or South Carolina or USC. He has a chance to start at Georgia, although Georgia is a place where you're going to have to be perfect to really keep playing there, and you're going to have really good and highly rated players behind you. So I don't think that Georgia's on the table, although I did put him in my top 3. I think Syracuse and Baylor are 2 schools that could really use their help, especially Syracuse, a really well coached team, a team that needs a quarterback, and a team that is looking for a quarterback in the portal. Baylor, another one of those teams as well, just like Syracuse. Although, yeah, if I were to pick one team, I would say it would be Syracuse. So those are my thoughts on Maalik Murphy. All right, next quarterback, my number 4 quarterback is Caden Salter, the transfer from Liberty University. Um, I have mixed feelings about Caden. I put him all over the board when I was making my top 5. I had him at 2, I had him at 5. I settled on 4 because he is extremely talented. The dual threat capability, live arm, you see it when you watch his game, but the con is he took a big step in the wrong direction in 2024. He passed for only 1,886 yards, only threw for 15 touchdowns and 6 picks. Compare that to 2023 when he threw for 2,876 yards. So threw for 1,000 more yards in 2023, and threw for twice as many touchdowns with 32 touchdowns, and threw the same amount of picks, which is 6. So I have mixed feelings about him. You've seen both the good and the bad out of Caden Salter. Um, and I think that's what has teams interested, and also the fact that he did play at Liberty in a not very good conference, with not very good players to help him along, does work in his favor, is because he could go to a team that is better. Now let's talk about some of those teams. He has already taken visits to Colorado, Florida State, and Syracuse, and UCLA and Auburn are also have also shown a lot of interest. This, according to Pete Nakos of On 3. I really like Colorado as a fit. I'm gonna be honest, I really do like Colorado as a fit. You have Julian Lewis coming in who plays a lot like Caden Salter. Dual threat, live arm, makes mistakes at times, but um I think they play relatively similar to each other. You have Salter finish his last year at Colorado under Dion, and you save that red shirt on Julian Lewis, and I think that it would work out perfectly if for Colorado to get him. You're playing in a better conference. You have a chance to win that conference because the Big 12, frankly, isn't as great as it's cracked up to be under all these new changes. I definitely think that Colorado could make a run at the Big 12 title like they did this past year. And Caden Salter could be a part of that. So I think that Caden Salter, if he went to Colorado, it would be a great option. Syracuse, we already talked about Syracuse with Malik Murphy. Syracuse is just going to keep coming up because they have something really good. A quick tangent on Syracuse. They have something really good going for them right now in upstate New York. They really do. Fran Brown is an excellent head coach. That team is just really, really well head coached. The whole staff is really, really well constructed. I give Fran Brown a lot of credit. I give a lot of credit to Kyle McCord because without him, they would be sitting at 9 wins, possibly a double-digit win season, to help kickstart the Syracuse program. All right, enough on Syracuse. I really like Syracuse. Sorry about that. Back to Caden Salter. Syracuse could be a fit. Florida State could also very much be a fit. I think that they're very much involved. I really don't see UCLA playing too much of a factor into his recruitment. His recruitment 2.0, and Auburn, I don't see it. I really do like Colorado in this scenario for Caden Salter. Okay, to our number 3 quarterback now. It's Connor Wegman, formerly of the Texas A&M Aggies. Connor Wegman had his season cut short by injuries and benching, whatever combination you want. But he has shown that he is plenty talented. Um, this past year, he threw for 819 yards, 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So you can see where I have the con being a high touchdown interception ratio. That's how he has been. Um, but I don't really want to focus on that so much as the fact that he is a talented quarterback. He's a veteran, multiple years experience in the league's toughest conference, the SEC. Yes, I am a primarily Big 10 channel, but I give credit where credit is due. The SEC is still the best conference overall, but there's a debate now, and I may address it in a future video for sure. I think I will do that. Another reason to stay subscribed and click the notification bell so that you're alerted when I post content. So Connor Wegman, interesting story. Interesting story. So the injuries, benching, a little bit of both. But now he's on to another team. It just never seemed like a really solid fit with Texas A&M. He was always bouncing around between this and that and the other thing. So there are 5 teams that have emerged as suitors for the highly coveted quarterback. Syracuse, we've already talked about Syracuse a lot. Mizzou, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Louisville. Out of those 5 teams, I like Wisconsin. If Wisconsin can fork out enough money for Connor Wegman, I really like him as a fit there. I think he fits in the offense, and I think it would be a really good fit for Connor Wegman. All right, getting into our top 2 quarterbacks in the portal as of right now today. That is Darian Mensah at number 2. A pro that I have from him is that he is an elite passer as a freshman. As a freshman at Tulane, he threw for 2,723 yards, 22 touchdowns compared to his only 6 picks. Yes, it is in the AAC in not a very good conference at all, and that's the con. He played at Tulane. Tulane did really well this year, and I'm happy for Tulane. But Tulane plays in a crappy conference, and they play in the G5, which is a con. There's not many cons to find in his game, but it's a step up. It is a big step up to play at a really at a powerhouse like he will probably be going to. And let's transition right into that. a couple teams that I think are in need of a quarterback that would be really good fits. Florida State. Florida State, maybe not the most attractive option following, their 2-10 season, but they've been making some great hires all over the board. Gus Malzahn is a great OC, and I think Mike Norvell may have saved his job by hiring Tony White as well. And the Florida State Seminoles suddenly become an attractive place. And another name here before we get to our number one quarterback is the Missouri Tigers. Their backup is Drew Pine. Brady Cook is graduating. They added Matt Zollers in the 2025 class, so he will not be starting as a true freshman probably. And that makes Darian Mensah a really good candidate to be a Missouri Tiger. And my number one quarterback, yes, is Miller Moss, excuse me. Um, a lot of people have a lot of opinions on Miller Moss. I personally like him as a quarterback. I personally do. He has led a top tier program in USC. Don't look at the record. USC is a top tier program. Maybe not the best of the best, but they are right there as a top tier program, to me at least. And I hope for you guys as well, because they are. And he's led this top tier team to some marquee wins. Look at the Holiday Bowl versus a really good Louisville defense. Threw up 400 touchdown passes in that game. Yes, that is an exaggeration, but still, you got the point. Led them to a clutch win in week 1 against LSU. An LSU team who was top 15 and at one point top 10 in the nation. An LSU team that was really, really good. Led him to a win against Rutgers, led him to an overtime loss against Penn State. These are games where he clutched up. Maybe not the Penn State game, but I think you guys get the point. The con is that he's an inconsistent passer, and that's why they lost some games. But that can be fixed. That is a coaching thing, and that can be fixed if he goes to the right fit. Now let's talk about some of those right fits. To me, Louisville is a really good option for Miller Moss. You have a good, stable NIL program, a head coach in Jeff Brom who is elite in my opinion, an unpopular one, but he is a really, really good head coach in Jeff Brom, and a team that doesn't have that hard of a schedule, could really do what Syracuse just did and win 9-10 games on an easy schedule, and finish out your collegiate career on a high note. You could take the risky path and go to Iowa. Iowa is right there with Miller Moss. Iowa, will send the bag at a quarterback if because they know what their problem is at this point. Auburn and Michigan are also in play. Michigan can also throw out some dollars as well, as we have seen, although the number one overall player breathing up your back is not the most it's not the best thing for him, with Underwood coming in, flipping from LSU. I mean, honestly, Underwood could probably start day one. But I understand wanting to get a bridge quarterback, so that's why Michigan is in on some of these quarterbacks. But I really think Louisville is probably the best bet for Miller Moss, in my opinion. I really like Miller Moss going to the Louisville Cardinals. So that's all I have for today. If you want more of these types of videos, like the video and subscribe. As I said before, subscribing is the best way to support the podcast, the most efficient way to support the channel. And with that, I will say bye, and I will see you guys in the next one.